From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Well, it is 5 o'clock here on your Thursday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Megan Shen. Our friend Rafael Sanchez has the day off, but he'll be back. And we have your headlines on this December the 16th. Police continue to search for the driver who hit and killed an 11-year-old boy. This morning, how community members are remembering Kyson Beatty and his impact in the community.
And Hoosier hospitality is in full force as we lend a helping hand to our neighbors across the Ohio River. This morning, the new effort to make sure that kids impacted by the storm have something to open on Christmas Day.
Then your holiday shopping could be impacted by supply chain issues and delivery delays. Working for you, we're looking at how you can still give a memorable gift and avoid issues being felt by retailers. But first, we want to check in with meteorologist Tom Claussen, who is back. Tom, it's good to see you, and you brought some windy conditions with you.
You know, it sure is windy. It woke me up a couple times throughout the overnight hours, and it's still pretty windy here this morning. This morning is the windiest part of the day. As we get into the afternoon hours, the wind will start to subside, but some of these gusts as high as 46 miles an hour in Bloomington, 33 in Lafayette. Ironically, there's a wind advisory in northern locations, and that's where the wind gusts aren't quite as strong at this hour compared to Bloomington. But nonetheless, all the counties you see here in the light blue are in a wind advisory. The pinkish purple color, that's a high wind warning as you get up to northwest Indiana. It's a cold front that's making its way through the area or towards the area right now, and we're still on the mild side of things. We're in the 50s, we're in the 60s. It's great out there temperature wise, and we haven't seen the rain yet. And here's the view from downtown to the north, but the showers will be moving in here this morning. We'll deal with rain this morning into the midday hour, and then we'll get back into the sunshine this afternoon. But look what happens to the temperatures. We're around 60 degrees at 8 a.m. By the time we get to 4 p.m., Lauren, temperatures down into the upper 40s.
All right, Todd. Well, let's take you out here on I-70. This is our view out in Hendricks County near State Road 267. You can see the camera there moving around in the wind just a little bit this morning. And we have some orange construction barrels there on the interstate lanes, but that's not slowing down traffic. Everything's still moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound for your commute. We'll keep you updated on any slowdowns throughout your Thursday morning.
Lauren, a motorcycle rider is in the hospital following an overnight crash in Speedway. The crash happened just before 1 o'clock this morning at 21st Street and Cunningham Road. Speedway police tell us a woman was driving an SUV when she collided with the cyclist. Officers tell WRTV the woman appeared to be impaired. Our crew watched her get into the back of a police car. Investigators tell us the motorcyclist was taken to the hospital with leg injuries. He is expected to survive.
But we're here to celebrate tonight a young man who lived a very, very bright life. I mean, as bright as these lights are that are around us.
A heartbroken community continues to recognize a young life taken too soon. Community members gathering for a vigil to remember 11-year-old Kyson Beatty, who was killed in a hit-and-run crash on Saturday. More than 100 people packed the football field at Decatur Central High School. Community members say they chose to stand on the 50-yard line. That's because that's where 11-year-old Kyson left his heart during many games. Not a moment has gone by since his death that the community has not gone above and beyond to honor Kyson. On Tuesday, a number of people attended the balloon release in memory of Kyson. Some of those same people, including his football teammates, were on the field to remember the middle schooler.
Just awful to hear and see and just witness that. It's just like you can't take life for granted, and it's like some of us in our daily lives just like, oh, we have the next day. Well, you don't always have the next day, and it's like we got to remember that.
I promise I don't want to start naming people because I don't have it in me to leave any of y'all out because y'all mean something.
Well, if you drive by Decatur Central this morning, you'll notice the lights at the football stadium are still on in remembrance of Kyson. Metro Police are asking anyone with information to please call Crime Stoppers. Investigators say they've located a vehicle of interest in this case, but no arrests have been made.
It's 5:04. A former case manager with the Department of Child Services is now accused of falsifying records related to child abuse and neglect investigations. Elizabeth Funk worked for the Bartholomew County DCS office in Columbus. Prosecutors charged her with 6 counts, including theft, ghost employment, official misconduct, and falsifying child abuse or neglect records. Court documents show Funk documented face-to-face conversations with caregivers that never took place. In one case, Funk is accused accused of claiming mileage reimbursements for visits that she never made. Now, Funk's trial is scheduled for April, and her attorney declined to comment to WRTV. Indiana DCS also declined to comment to WRTV, but the agency has terminated Funk. Court records show Funk told investigators she was under pressure to resolve cases.
The time right now is 5:05. Now to the continuing coverage of the deadly tornadoes to our south. The National Weather Service in Paducah says that the tornado tearing through Mayfield, Kentucky, packed 190 mile-per-hour winds and is considered an EF4. Meteorologists say that the tornado was at least a mile wide. The National Weather Service in Paducah says that the tornado on the ground was for 128 miles in Kentucky alone. Since 1950, there have only been 19 EF4 tornadoes in December. 74 Kentuckians died in those storms, including 12 children.
Lived here all my life. I couldn't even recognize some of the roads.
It was horrible. The ceilings were down in the kitchen. The living room's damaged. That night that it happened, she was on her couch, and she did not even know what was going on.
More than 100 people remain without power there in the Bluegrass State. Well, we know Hoosiers across central Indiana are finding ways to help those rebuild from the devastating tornadoes in Kentucky. Porch Time, a podcast based out of Martinsville, is sending water and other supplies to Bowling Green and Mayfield, Kentucky. Members from Morgan County community donated these items. Organizers are now working on a toy drive to help provide Christmas for the kids.
This is what hurts a lot of us in the heart. Not only the death and the destruction, that is just horrible, but the ones that made it woke up to nothing, and Christmas morning they're going to wake up to absolutely nothing.
The team has been offered school buses to help transport the toys next week. We have information on how you can donate right now. It's in the WRTV News app.
Our hearts go out to them. Now Hoosiers can step into a new role to help in the battle against cyber threats. The Indiana National Guard is adding an electronic welfare battalion. Roughly 200 new positions will be created to establish the Intelligence and Electronic Warfare Battalion, and members of the new unit will use specialized skills and high-level clearances to fight off cyber threats from around the world. The National Guard says the new battalion will be based at the Indiana Intelligence Center in Indianapolis, Lauren.
We are still a little more than 5 months out from the Indianapolis 500, and plenty of excitement is already building. Jimmy Johnson will make his first go at being part of the greatest spectacle in racing. Johnson will race the entire IndyCar schedule in 2022, including the ovals. Jimmy tested on the IMS Oval back in October, turned some laps at Texas this summer. Wednesday's announcement means the four-time Brickyard 400 winner will have to go through rookie orientation in May.
Time now is 5:08 on your Thursday morning. For some, holiday shopping can be a stressful experience. I know I've felt that, and current shipping delays are adding to the headache. So here on Good Morning Indiana, we're helping you ease the worry with our gift-giving guide. New this morning, WRTV's Kelsey Anderson shows us how you can navigate supply chain issues and shipping delays.
Over the last 2 years, we have talked so much about the importance of shopping small and supporting your local businesses, especially in your own hometown. That's why I came here to Fortville to 3 different shops to find gifts you could find right here on Main Street.
We have handmade, we have sweary, we have snarky, we have sassy, we have unique, we have breakable, we have not breakable.
I do have apparel and hats and smoking jackets and things like that, and so it's been a fun 3 years, that's for sure.
Everything is very unique. I only have 1 to 2 to 3 pieces of everything that's in here, and you probably won't find a lot of it anywhere else.
Whether it's a funny or sentimental gift, cigars or clothing, Fortville shop owners guarantee they have something for anyone on your list.
Shop small business because a lot of times those gifts have a little bit more meaning. We have things that are just really unique to either the town or the state of Indiana.
And most of them still struggling to come back from the forced shutdown.
Things might look really good on the outside. I call it Facebook pretty.
But we're all still struggling. I mean, there are businesses along Main Street that are struggling. I'm struggling. We're all struggling. So we're all still pivoting, trying to find ways of continuing to keep our dream alive.
That's why, time and again, Studio 949 and Maduro on Main make sure to have one-of-a-kind gifts and personalized shopping experiences.
Doing a lot of custom work. I've been doing a lot of repurposing of people's loved ones' shirts into teddy bears or pillows or blankets. So I've been doing a lot of that this year, and that pivot has helped me keep this alive.
Somebody comes in, they're buying a gift, and they don't know exactly what that person that they're buying for smokes. Within 3 or 4 questions, I can probably figure out what they want to do, and the end receiver will be happy with what they get.
I've linked all 3 of these stores online for you right now at WRTV.com. That's where you can learn more information about GMI's gift giving guide. In Fortville, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
All right, thank you there, Kelsey. As you walk out the door this morning, it's windy. The wind probably woke you up throughout the overnight hours. I could hear it at my home this morning. Woke me up a couple times. And there's a wind advisory for some of you out there. And some of your wind gusts here range from 46 miles per hour in Bloomington to 35 in the Muncie area. And there is a wind advisory for those of you in northern locations. And all this wind is out ahead of a cold front that is off to our west. And the cold front's eventually going to bring us some rain showers as well. And you see some of those showers right now from northern Indiana back towards St. Louis. So your rain chances here throughout the day today will start to ramp up across the area, and they'll be with us through about the noon hour. And then this evening we get right back into the sunshine. It dries out, but it's going to be kind of a little bit of a wild stretch of weather here all the way through Saturday morning. Some small rain chances here this morning, better rain chances Friday evening into Saturday morning. Neither day is a washout. We'll break it all down for you and time it out, coming up with your full weather forecast in just a couple minutes.
All right, Todd, nearly 3,000 Hoosiers are in the hospital with the coronavirus. Coming up, we're looking at how much hospital stays are costing uninsured COVID patients.
High winds causing big problems for residents in the Plains and the Rockies. Coming up, the clever advice from one Colorado state trooper. You won't want to miss that. We'll be right back right here on Good Morning Indiana.
It is 5:15. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're keeping a close eye on your commute this morning. You may notice some wind out there, and you can see our camera bouncing around just a little bit out here on I-70 in Hendricks County. Traffic's moving along just fine, both eastbound and westbound. No delays to slow you down, so that's great news for your commute at this hour.
Getting hospitalized for COVID-19 can be devastating to one's health, but for people without insurance, it can also be devastating financially. Healthcare analysts say an uninsured COVID patient can expect hospital bills between $25,000 and $350,000. Fair Health is a nonprofit which keeps an eye on healthcare costs. The organization says the average hospital stay for complex COVID cases fell from 13 days in April 2020 down to 7 days in July 2021.
A bill giving military service members and civilian Defense Department employees a pay raise heads to the president's desk. The nearly 3% pay raises are part of the bipartisan defense spending bill passing through the Senate on Wednesday. The measure authorizes funds for the Defense Department and defines its policy agenda. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's happy with the bill. McConnell says a portion of the funding focuses on deterring Russia's influence in Europe.
Fewer people are being sentenced to federal and state prisons. The Justice Department says the number of prisoners dropped by 400,000 between 2010 and 2020. The report did not address the reason behind that drop, but researchers say the pandemic is partly responsible. The report also reveals the death rate of state and federal prisoners jumped by 46% between 2019 and 2020.
We know that more than 300,000 people in 6 states are waking up without power this morning. Those outages coming as the hurricane-force winds swept across the plains in the Rockies. Coloradians are facing snow showers driven by 100-mile-per-hour winds. The wind's so dangerous, they've thrown tractor trailers off the road, leading officials to shut down some highways. The National Weather Service sends out a warning, tweeting, quote, visibility may rapidly change from good to near nothing.
Understand that these gusts can push you into another lane or even push you over. Right now, anything not strapped down has a chance of flying away forever.
High winds combined with dust in Kansas to create some menacing conditions there. The man who took this video said it's the darkest storm that he's ever experienced in his life. The windstorm even forcing some schools to cancel classes. So it may be a little windy here this morning, Todd, but nothing like that, my goodness.
You know, that's what Kevin Gregory would do. Like the joke with the Colorado trooper did. I taped something to his head. But yeah, it's super windy out there. And we are definitely dealing with some wind gusts. And we do have a wind advisory in the northern half of central Indiana. But to our west, it's all high wind warnings. That's a step above the wind advisory. So we're dealing with some gusty winds, but it's just really a brief period here throughout the morning hours. You can see some of these wind gusts in the 30-mile-per-hour range in most locations, a little higher in some areas. Bloomington, the last report of 46-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But there's southerly winds, and that's bringing the temperature all the way up to 62 here this morning, and the sustained wind is out of the southwest at 21 miles per hour. Those winds will start to change direction, though, later on this afternoon, and that's going to drive in drastically colder air as we work our way into the afternoon hours. So enjoy the warmth here this morning. We're in the 50s and 60s right now, but look at the cold front. You see exactly where it is. Look at the temperature difference between Chicago at 61 and Des Moines at 30 degrees. So a 31-degree temperature difference over the course of the distance between those two cities. And again, this really cold air will be heading our way. Let's talk about the winds and focus also on the direction the arrows are pointing. That's the wind direction, the direction the wind is coming from and going towards. So it's southwesterly here with some wind gusts up to about 30 to 40 miles per hour throughout the morning hours. Once we get to 11 a.m. and into the afternoon hours, watch what happens. The winds turn westerly. They'll start to subside a little bit, which is good news, but that change in wind direction is what's going to bring the much colder air in here. And by tomorrow morning, we'll be talking about temperatures that are going to be below freezing. Light rain showers moving into northern portions of central Indiana this morning, and then it stretches back off to our west, and this is the cold front that is going to be moving through. And on TrueCast, it shows you just some spotty showers, I think, through the early morning commute in northern locations. The best chance will be from about 9 o'clock through the noon hour as a band of heavier rain, the actual passage of the cold front comes through. And then by the time we get to 3 p.m., the rain is off to the east, and we're starting to see the sunshine back into the forecast. So rain chances spotty here through the morning commute, a little more widespread as we work our way throughout the course of the noon hour. But notice your noontime temperature, 55 degrees. And then as we work our way into the evening hours, the skies brighten, but we're down into the 40s by 5 p.m. And then this evening temperatures will just continue to drop down into the 30s with a mainly clear sky. Now tomorrow morning we start off chilly. We're in the 20s. We'll warm eventually only into the low 40s. It's a much colder day. And then tomorrow rain chances return once again. Tomorrow's rain chances, though, will start in southern locations through your Friday evening and then become more widespread as we work our way into the overnight hours. And there could be some, again, heavy rainfall early Saturday morning. I don't think we see severe weather like we saw last Friday into Saturday, but you definitely wake up to more dreary conditions on Saturday, and then things will start to improve as we work our way into the afternoon. Here's your 7-day planning forecast. 42 tomorrow as well as Saturday. Once we get past the rain chances Saturday morning, it's a pretty nice forecast. It's dry with fairly seasonable temperatures for December, Lauren, as we head into next week.
All right, Todd, let's take it up here to the northwest side of town. This is on I-465 and West 46th Street. You can see we have a right shoulder closed there and an arrow board shifting you over to the left. But overall traffic here moving both northbound and southbound on the 465 loop is traveling up to speed at this early hour. We'll keep a close eye on this spot and keep you updated on any areas you need to avoid.
Pregnant women are at an increased risk for severe illness from respiratory viruses like flu and COVID-19. Experts say a woman's immune system weakens during pregnancy, and that makes vaccines especially important. Data shows pregnant women with COVID-19 or the flu may face an increased risk for premature birth and pregnancy loss. Doctors at the Cleveland Clinic say the best way to protect a mom-to-be from the flu or COVID-19 related complications is to get vaccinated.
Respiratory infections can be devastating in pregnancy, and we have what it takes in this country to prevent it. So why don't we prevent them? We have the flu vaccine, we have the COVID vaccine, we have preventative measures like hand hygiene, safe measures.
Experts say flu shots protect an expecting mom and her newborn. The Cleveland Clinic says vaccine antibodies offer a baby protection when they are passed through a mother's breast milk.
Well, the real-life Captain Kirk made a historic trip to the final frontier earlier this year. Straight ahead, how you can watch William Shatner prepare for that journey that few people have taken. We'll have that story and more coming up on the other side of the break.
So, Lauren, Amazon wasn't around. Chronicle and William Shatner boldly went where no man has gone before.
But hey, it's here now to show us what happened when he went where only a select few have gone. Well, the company's streaming service is releasing a short documentary about Shatner's ride to space. Shatner in Space tells the story of a man who portrayed Captain Kirk in Star Trek, preparing for his real-life space flight. It also includes conversations the 90-year-old had with his kids about his pending space flight. And of course, it includes the actor's journey to the final frontier, which left him in tears. I bet that'd be pretty interesting. All right, Todd, we got to get a look at our forecast back here at home. What do we got going on this morning?
You know, there's a lot going on. We have to talk about wind. Some of you under a wind advisory. We have some rain moving through this morning into the early afternoon hours, and then we have falling temperatures as well. Here's a look at radar, and you can see some of these showers moving in. A lot of this isn't even reaching the ground yet up towards Lafayette as well as Peru, and I think most of your morning commute should be okay. It's once we get into late morning into the early afternoon that the more widespread rain moves through, and you'll be pleasantly surprised by the temperatures as you walk out the door this morning. We're in the 50s, we're in the 60s. It's nice and mild. Unfortunately, we don't stay there as the rain moves through. That's a cold front. 50s by 10 a.m. and then eventually into the 40s as your evening commute gets on its way later on tonight. We'll talk more about today and look ahead as well coming up as Good Morning Indiana continues.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now at 5:30 on Good Morning Indiana, scammers are changing their tactics, how they're targeting your mailbox as they try and steal your money.
And providing help to our neighbors to the south. The outpouring of support here locally for those impacted by the deadly tornadoes in Kentucky.
And getting creative to find new bus drivers. The unique way one local school district is hoping to attract more drivers. But first at 5:30, as you're heading out the door this morning, you might want to hang on to your hat, right, Todd?
Yeah, you'll notice two things when you walk out the door here this morning. One is the temperature. We're in great shape, 50s and 60s. The other is the wind. These are sustained winds here this morning, anywhere from 18 to 25 miles per hour. That's not going to cause any damage, but definitely a bit of an inconvenience. The problem is the winds are gusting up to about 35 to 45 miles per hour here this morning. So just be aware of that. For some of you, there's a wind advisory in place in locations to the north. But here are those temperatures. We're in the 60s. Bloomington 63 degrees right now and a 62 in Indy. These temperatures will fall this afternoon. So this morning is the warmest part of the day. And we're also watching some showers move in. Not all this is reaching the ground, just a few sprinkles to the north. But more rainfall will be heading our way as we work our way throughout the morning into the afternoon. This is a cold front that is coming through. So here's your temperature trend and your hour-by-hour planner with not only the temperatures, but also your rain chances. So it's windy this morning with temperatures in the 60s. You notice the temperatures fall throughout the entire day. There's a period of showers as we work our way late morning through the early afternoon hours, and then they get out of here very, very quickly. So your evening hours will be brighter, but much colder, Lauren, with highs only in the 40s.
All right, Todd, taking you up here to the north side of town on the 465 loop. This is a live picture near Keystone Avenue from INDOT, and you can see that traffic is moving along just fine, both eastbound and westbound. Pretty quiet out there on your road, so that's great news for your commute.
Great news indeed. Thank you, Lauren. Well, new this morning, a motorcycle rider is in the hospital following an overnight crash in Speedway. The crash happened just before 1 o'clock this morning at 21st Street and Cunningham Road. Speedway police tell us a woman was driving an SUV when she collided with a cyclist. Officers tell WRTV the woman appeared to be impaired. Investigators tell us the motorcyclist was taken to the hospital with leg injuries. He's expected to survive.
The Social Security Administration says scammers are getting smarter. They're moving away from phone scams, and now they're targeting your mailbox. It's a new twist on an old trick. Scammers are sending letters claiming to be from the Social Security Administration. They give you a phone number to contact them so you can get a cost of living adjustment. Social Security Administration says it's a scam and that the cost of living adjustments are automatic.
Why is your agency so concerned about this particular scam?
We'll usually send you a letter. Well,
the scammers picked up on that, and now they're trying to take advantage of that. So we're very concerned that people will think that the letter is legitimate. So we're trying to get the word out just to advise people that, scammers will manipulate any sort of communication. So just be on your guard all the time.
Well, the feds say that scammers are likely looking for a way to steal your money or your personal information. If you owe money to Social Security, they'll mail you a letter with payment options and appeal rights. Recognizing the signs of a scam can help you avoid falling victim to one. So it's a scam if someone threatens to suspend your Social Security number, warns of arrest or legal action, demands immediate payment, pressures you for personal information like your date of birth, Social Security number, or bank account number. It may also be a scam if the person requests secrecy.
It's 5:34 on your Thursday morning. Today, we are expecting to learn more about a raid carried out by federal agents at a home in Zionsville. Check this out. The search began late Wednesday morning at a home on Indian Pipeline, that's near Michigan Road in Zionsville. We have very little information on the reason for this raid so far. The FBI would only confirm that a federal search warrant is being executed at the home and that the warrant is not being made public as of now. We'll continue to follow this developing story and bring you any updates on WRTV.com.
Well, it's almost tax season, and we have some welcome news for Hoosiers. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb announced that all Hoosier taxpayers will receive a $125 refund after they file their 2021 taxes next year. The governor said this is due to an unprecedented amount of money in the state's reserves despite the pandemic. He said an estimated $545 million will be returned to Hoosiers. The Department of Revenue expects to complete refunds for taxpayers filing by the April 18th deadline by May 1st.
The number of coronavirus cases across the state remains high this morning. So here's a look at the latest numbers from the Department of Health. More than 4,700 new cases were reported in Indiana on Wednesday. We also learned that 87 more people have now died with COVID-19. And the state's 7-day positivity rate is holding steady this morning at 14.1%. Experts continue to say the best way to slow the spread of COVID-19 is to get vaccinated and get your booster shot. It's easy to sign up to make an appointment, and to sign up for any COVID shot, you can make an appointment through the website or shot.in.gov or by dialing 211. To find a COVID testing site, you can go to the website coronavirus.in.gov. There's a link to find a testing location near you at the top of the front page.
Well, supply chain issues are hitting more than retail chains this winter. The Central Indiana Health Departments are experiencing shortages of medical supplies and at the testing and vaccine sites, that is. Recently, the Fishers Health Department experienced shortages of rapid tests and syringes. Fishers Director of Public Health, Monica Helt, says a limited number of rapid tests are back online but are reserved for qualifying individuals. As for vaccines, the mass vaccination site on 116th Street and Brooks School Road stopped walk-in appointments on Thursday due to a lack of syringes. Those restarted on Wednesday, and Health expects demand for both testing and vaccines to continue as cases climb here in Indiana.
Trying to make sure that we have enough supply, that we're ordering in enough time, especially with the holiday, making sure that the delivery schedule's on time, accounting for the fact that, the CDC or the State Department of Health may have some glitches or delays in their systems, and making sure that we have a buffer for those kinds of things. Syringes, everything is affected in ways that are really mind-boggling, especially, since we've been doing this for so long.
Health officials ask everyone to remain flexible. Supply chain issues will continue to change how things operate. Experts expect those issues to resolve mid to late 2022.
A local restaurant is working to help people in Western Kentucky who were impacted by the deadly tornadoes. We're talking about Rusted Silo, Southern Barbecue and Brew House in Liston. The restaurant has collected a large amount of supplies to take down to Kentucky for disaster relief. In fact, the restaurant has collected so many donations, there's no place for customers to send now. And the employees plan to take the donations down to Kentucky on Friday.
We just want to go help. And these folks have no homes, they have no clothes, they have no goods. And at this time of year, probably no Christmas. So we're collecting anything and everything that we can take down to help out and give back to that hard-hit community.
We appreciate the generosity of the community. And it's not just donations. The owner of Rusted Silo says various organizations also donated meat to him. So he has taken his food truck down to prepare meals for people who have been displaced from their homes in Kentucky.
A local school district is taking an unusual route to recruit bus drivers. Clark Pleasant Schools just released this new video to help address the driver shortage. Officials say they decided to produce the video since they haven't had much success attracting drivers through conventional methods. In the video, veteran drivers talk about how great it can be to drive a school bus. The drivers each have more than 30 years of experience.
I've been doing this for 46 years, and it's been a perfect job for me.
Got a lot of people that are here that I've known almost ever since that I started. So it's kind of like a family.
Well, Clark Pleasant school bus drivers work roughly 5 hours per day, 180 days per year. Some drivers will start over $25 per hour and top out over $35 per hour. The district says free CDL training is provided and drivers will hit the road within a few weeks. See you, Todd. I'm going to go be a school bus driver.
Hey, I think it's
Sounds pretty fun.
Great job. Once I get to retirement, I'll drive a bus. See all the kids. I think it'd be a fun job if you're able to do it. All right, there's a wind advisory here this morning for all the counties north of Indianapolis. It does not include Marion County or Indianapolis. And there are two different time frames here. One expires this morning. The other one expires later on this afternoon. What you just need to take from this is it's going to be pretty windy as a cold front comes through. And those winds already kicked up throughout the overnight hours. They may have woken you up at times throughout the overnight. And now as we get into the morning commute, wind speeds between about 30 and 45 miles per hour depending on where you live. So it's gusty out there. All these winds are not part of thunderstorms though. They're just completely separate of that. So there's no storms moving through, although there will be some rain showers here later on this morning. Look at the temperature trend though. We're in the 60s right now. It's a really, really mild start. Mid 50s throughout the afternoon and then 40s later on this evening. Here's the cold front. A lot of this isn't reaching the ground yet in central Indiana, but eventually these showers will reach the ground by about mid-morning. We'll talk about that and beyond as we look ahead to your weekend coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, Todd, see you then. The number of Omicron cases are growing quickly in the United States. The new details we're learning about the most common symptoms caused by the variant.
And the debate over paid family leave is heating up. We're taking a close look at the battle currently happening in Congress. It's 5:40. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. This morning, hospitals across the country are bracing for the impact of the Omicron variant. As of this morning, Omicron cases are doubling every 2 days in the U.S. Now, new data shows the variant significantly reduces antibody protection after 2 doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. But doctors say the booster shot mostly restores peak protection. Now, research has shown that Omicron causes less severe disease, and a preliminary study from South Africa reveals it may cause different symptoms compared to previous variants, including a scratchy throat as opposed to a sore throat.
Well, today, advisors for the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will meet to discuss the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. They'll discuss the benefits and the risks of the single-dose therapy and look into a rare but serious type of blood clot that's been linked to it. The government has authorized the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for use in people at least 18 years old, and it can be used as a booster shot. The committee will look at expanding the authorization for children ages 5 to 11.
Should parents be paid for taking time off following the birth of a child? That's the question. And while some companies and some states offer paid leave programs, it currently isn't mandated at the federal level. And that means many employees across the country don't have access to it. Our Joe St. George explains why the United States may continue to be one of the only countries in the world without a program, even though efforts to create one recently passed the House of Representatives.
What is he doing? Are you going to give some smiles?
Meet Natalie Welling's latest bundle of joy.
Tell me a story. Yeah.
Young Lennox is only 6 weeks old, an eventful period for any new mom.
So I went back when 2 weeks ago, when he was 4 weeks.
Natalie, however, can't spend every waking moment with her son. Why?
My employer doesn't offer any
paid family leave.
The United States continues to be one of the only major countries in the world without nationwide mandated paid leave. All of these countries have it. Natalie says her family couldn't afford to not have her work. For those 4 weeks that she did stay home,
Everything was unpaid. I received nothing.
it appeared for a moment this year paid leave may be created by Congress. The House of Representatives included 4 weeks in their version of the Build Back Better bill that passed in November. But every indication is that it will be scrapped before the Senate votes. West Virginia's Democratic Senator Joe Manchin has said it doesn't belong in the bill, believing it should be addressed in a separate bipartisan way. Natalie lives in West Virginia, is Manchin's constituent, and hopes he changes his mind.
It's very sad. I mean, we want parents to work like they don't have children, but parent like they don't have a job.
But Senator Manchin is not supporting paid family leave. And when you come here to West Virginia, you quickly realize why.
I mean, we're a very Republican state. We gave Donald Trump the second highest percentage of the vote.
John Finley runs the Republican Party here. He says the only Democrat left elected to statewide office is Joe Manchin. His group has been pushing Manchin to vote no on as many Democratic ideas as possible, and he thinks it's working.
Our job is to pressure Joe Manchin. I mean, if he votes stop, he might be reelected. If he votes with the Biden agenda, he will lose.
Still, people like Natalie
See, I want my mama home.
just hopes the country figures out something soon.
The child suffers.
In Given, West Virginia, I'm Joe St. George.
Well, it is 5:47. We're getting a look at some dramatic video as neighbors jumped into action to stop an attempted car theft out in Philadelphia. Security cameras capture the vehicle sitting with its blinkers on and the front door open. That's when a man in a hoodie rushed up to the vehicle and jumped in. The delivery driver saw what was happening and tried to fight off the would-be theft. A number of neighbors jumped into action trying to get the man out of the car. The would-be carjacker gave up, ran from the scene. Police are still looking for him this morning.
Overnight, a shakeup in the NFL. Urban Meyer has been fired as head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The team owner made the announcement in a statement late last night. Meyer had been the head coach for just 13 games. Meyer's short stint with the Jaguars had plenty of rough moments, though. The team is just 2-11 on the season, and Meyer has been involved in several off-the-field issues. Then Wednesday morning allegations surfaced that the former Ohio State and Florida coach had kicked a player in the preseason.
Well, this morning, people living in Iowa will be spending their morning cleaning up from some severe weather. Strong storms rolled through Iowa on Wednesday evening. A possible tornado was reported near Des Moines. The powerful winds brought down trees and power lines and damaged a number of homes and buildings. So far, no serious injuries were reported with this storm. The National Weather Service will be on hand this morning to determine if a tornado is responsible for that damage. So it's been kind of a crazy week here, Todd, in December, and it's pretty warm here in the Hoosier State this morning.
Yeah, you know, the next 48 hours are going to be pretty wild as well. We're going to have wind, we're going to have rain, we're going to have falling temperatures, and then a return to more seasonable weather as we head towards the second half of your weekend. As you walk out the door here this morning, it's really, really mild, but it's also very, very windy. There's a wind advisory for some of you, and that's mainly all the counties once you get north of Indianapolis. Does not include Marion County. It does include Hamilton County, but it's going to be windy no matter where you are. So don't really focus too much on the counties where that wind advisory is in place. Temperatures will fall here from the 60s where they are now into the 50s, eventually into the 40s, and then we'll also deal with some rain showers throughout the course of the morning and into the early afternoon. Here are your wind gusts at the top of the hour. That got reported anywhere from 26 miles per hour in Richmond to 36 in Greencastle. Bloomington, a 46 mile per hour wind gust. So those winds are strong here this morning. They're not associated with any thunderstorms. It's just purely wind out ahead of a cold front that is heading our way. 62 in Indy, 58 in Lafayette, 59 in Muncie, and Shelbyville currently at 60 degrees. And on radar, you do notice some returns coming in. A lot of this isn't reaching the ground here, though, in northern locations. So that is the good news. But this front will come through during about the midday time frame. And after that, we're really going to start to see our temperatures fall. So we've had the southerly winds out ahead of the front. That's why our temperatures are in the 60s. But as soon as this front goes through, our winds turn counterclockwise. around that area of low pressure. That means they come in from a northwesterly direction for us. And watch what that does to the temperatures. The 50s and 60s will be a thing of the past once we head into the afternoon hours. Here's the noon time frame, and this is when the front is actually passing through. And I stopped it here because this is when we're dealing with the most widespread or steady rain. So your lunch hour looks pretty wet across the area, and then this front will go through pretty quickly. By 3 p.m., still raining in southern and eastern locations, drying out to the north. And then as we work our way into the evening hours, I do think we even get a little bit of sunshine in here before the sun sets. But look at the temperatures. We're all the way down into the 40s and then eventually into the 30s here later on this evening. Now, let me fast forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow, TrueCast, this is 9:30. You wake to sunshine. Tomorrow, it's the opposite. The rain comes in the second half of the day. It starts in southern locations, and then it spreads across all of central Indiana into early Saturday morning. This is midnight Friday into Saturday, and the rain becomes pretty widespread and could be a little heavy at times. It looks like early Saturday morning. This will not be a repeat of last Friday into Saturday when we had the severe weather, though, so that is definitely good news. But it does transition us into a much cooler weather pattern going forward. Tomorrow, 28 in the morning, highs only in the 40s, and then we'll keep the temperatures in the 40s as we work our way into next week. The good news is once we get past that rain, which could linger into Saturday morning, it's a pretty dry forecast as we lead up to Christmas, it looks like, with temperatures in the 40s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, well, let's take you out here near the airport. This is I-70, just east of those airport ramps. You can see that traffic here moving eastbound and westbound on 70 is moving along just fine here to our west. So maybe if you're heading out to catch a flight this morning or drop a friend off at the airport, you shouldn't have any problems getting there. We'll keep you updated on any crashes or slowdowns, though, as you're heading out the door this Thursday. Well, Good Morning Indiana is helping you grab that perfect gift this holiday season. Just ahead here at 6 o'clock, our own Kelsey Anderson shows you how you can avoid those shipping delays and snag something special. It's 5:52. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Welcome back. So a North Carolina teen is getting an early Christmas present this year.
That's right, Lauren. One very kind stranger decided to do something special for the holiday season. Take a look at this. Alma Belton needed a wheelchair and needs one to get around. And when she gets off the school bus every day, her father has to help her get up their front steps. And that was the normal routine until one day when a stranger showed up at their front door. That man was Joe Hill, the owner of a contracting company. He says he saw the struggle this family goes through and he wanted to help. So he built the Belton family a ramp into their home entirely for free. Hill says he simply saw a family in need and wanted to provide help to them. Todd, if that doesn't warm your spirit, I don't know what else does.
Right before Christmas as well. You know, a lot of people could take from what he did and do that, help their neighbors out as well any way they can. All right, wind advisory in place here across the area from Indy to the north. Once you get to northwest Indiana, these counties in this purplish pink color, that's a high wind warning. The winds are stronger a little further off to our west. We have some rain showers that are moving in, and you'll want to have the umbrella handy as you walk out the door this morning, as we'll be dealing with some showers and then a little bit of a steady rain through the noon hour. Your afternoon hours are dry, though. That is the good news. But look at the temperatures today. They drop from the 60s where we are now into the 40s by this evening. Your full forecast, the latest news headlines and traffic update coming up as Good Morning Indiana continues at 6 a.m.